I broke my Kirby. Yes, it can be done. It takes a lot of effort, but yes, you can break a Kirby. Now, the difference is, if you break a vacuum that you bought from, you know, a box store, like a Eureka, a Bissell, I don't know, a Dirt Devil, what have you, it's pretty much usually terminal. But if you break a Kirby, it's not. So what exactly did I do? Well, I was vacuuming along and just, you know, having a good old time. And all of a sudden I heard a plink, chunk noise. And then the vacuum started vibrating. And it was not good. So I'll demonstrate to you what that sounds like. It actually works okay. I mean, it works fine. But you can feel it in the handle. It's a very rapid vibration in the entire unit. And what I found is, well, here's what happened. So I had been doing some construction in that particular room that I was vacuuming at one point, and I must have left a small wood screw on the floor, and it hit the it got sucked in, because Kirby's will take in anything that you give them, but it hit the impeller just the right way, and it shipped it. In fact, you can see there's a chunk missing out of one of these vanes. Let's take a good look here, see if we can figure out which one it was. I think it was that one. You see there's a chunk missing out of that vane. Yeah, I think there's some additional damage. There's actually a lot of nicks and gouges in the impeller anyway. So, like I said, if you did this to any other vacuum, it would be, you know, back to the store, spend a couple $100 on a new vacuum, more than likely. Being a Kirby, they're infinitely fixable. When things do break, and it's not very often, but when they do, you can solve the problem. So let's get this thing torn down. We'll get it up on the table over there, and we'll see what we can do about it. Alright, so the project that we're going to be doing on this vacuum is a complete impeller replacement. And I was able to buy all the parts I needed in one kit from an eBay seller for around $15 or less. And the kit includes several parts we're going to need for this project. The impeller being one of them. And we've also got some seal grease, a brand new front shaft, or belt pulley. We've got a rear seal that apparently causes cancer in California. Why do they have those on everything now? We also have looks like a bushing and a washer, a couple of little washers. And it was a pretty inexpensive repair if this all goes successfully. Continually running the vacuum is bad for the motor, as it can destroy the bearings. We don't want to do that. So we're going to tear this thing down and get to the guts of it. We're going to start by taking the top cover off. Apparently requires a couple of different screw sizes. The bit that I'm using on this is a T20. Now if I recall that we need to, it's going to be the wrong driver. Need to actually release this back cover. There's a little clip inside that has to be done like that. I'm gonna leave the power cord attached to the cover and just take it off that way. And what I did is I just disconnected it from the motor housing. The whole plug comes out that way. I think. There we go. Ah, that's how you do it. Okay. I'm going to take this cover off. Cord and all. Put it aside. Let's take a look at what we have now. So at this point, we need to remove the front cover off the power unit, which is held in by a couple of T20 screws. There's going to be some sealer inside there that we need to contend with. And we're just going to reseal it with standard automotive grade RTB sealant. I have never actually done this before. Oops. Never done this on a Kirby. The last thing I did to my Kirby was I tore the gearbox out, the drivetrain, and I cleaned and lubricated everything inside. I actually bought this vacuum at my local Savers for a whopping $60. No, I think I paid $30 for it actually. It was very inexpensive. Okay, looks like we got another screw here. No, I'm not a vacuum snob. I just know a good product when I see it. And these Kirbys are just, they're overbuilt. They are massively overbuilt. And there's no question. There's no question they're massively overbuilt. Now we're going to have to pop this off. I'm going to use a mallet to try to break the seal. Let me go grab one of those. Alright. Let's see if I can do this.
Okay, this is a Kirby vacuum cleaner in Brandon's work office. He is going to show you how to replace a piece that he broke.
Alright, so I got a little mallet here. Let's see if we just gently tap the frame. And here we go. We're in. Okay, let's get a better look at that impeller, see how much damage we did. So, yeah, there's a big chunk missing, that's for sure. That's for damn sure. You can see the channel. I'd vacuum this up, but, well, yeah. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of little nicks, and you're gonna find that on a used vacuum. Obviously, there's a chip there. There's a really good break there. So yeah, this impeller is definitely played. The new one, the seller claimed it was a more reinforced version, but this part fits, I think, almost every Kirby vacuum ever made. They've never really changed the part, so it should be pretty straightforward swap. I had to confirm this with another YouTuber's video, but anyway, the nose, or the front pulley, comes off by threading it off clockwise. So it's reverse threaded, and you actually simply firmly grasp the impeller or what's left of it, and you just go like that. Actually, very simple. But it looks like we have a problem because the entire motor is spinning right now. Now, what that means is we're going to have to stop lock the armature somehow, which means that I need to further dismantle the Kirby. So we're going to do that. Break this zip tie. You can't really see it at the angle that you're at right now, but I assure you there is an easy way to do this somewhere, somehow. Disconnect that, plug. The other one is kind of buried, but I think I can get it. There we go. Got those unplugged. Those are the for the light at the end of the tunnel. And we're gonna just take this little upper superstructure off. Actually, that may not be necessary. No, it is. It is necessary. Okay. I think I've had this apart before. Think of it. So this gives us a nice full. Let's take a look. This is a beautiful product, beautifully engineered, beautifully built. You can see the tail shaft on the end of the motor. You need to put a wrench on it right there. Okay, so here's the deal. Yes, this can be done pretty easily. The deal is you're going to have to dig out a wrench that you've probably never used in your life. I am 34 years old. I started fixing bicycles actually when I was about 8. And I progressed to everything else from there, everything in between. And never once, never have I ever used a 9mm wrench. Never. 8's too big. No, I'm sorry. 8 is too small, and 9 fits. 3/8 is too big, but just barely works. Something smaller than a 3/8, but I'm using a 9. And guess what? That'll do the job. Okay, so now we're back on track. I recommend trying the other method, that is to kind of hold the impeller stationary with your hand and try it that way. But let's see what this does. Oh, there we go. Let's take this off. I don't know why the kit comes with a new one of these. But there must be a reason for it. So we'll replace it because we can. So there's that washer. Remember what order these come out. Pull the impeller off. Let's see what we got here. There we go. There's the impeller. Yeah, it's what it is. It's broken. We'll throw that away. So what do we have? We have the thin plastic washer first. Okay. Then we've got the there's a steel collar. Oh wow, the seal is bad. That's for damn sure. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep that assembled so we can build a new one out of the parts that they sent us. So we've got our little front seal, and it goes on with the tapered lip facing the motor. So that goes on to our little steel washer actually second, because the first thing that goes on is going to be, oh, we don't have that piece. They didn't send us one. So my old one has a rubber. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Scratch that. It just slides right on, just like that. Okay. Now this is the dust seal for the front bearing, which I don't believe we have to do anything for. I think it's a sealed bearing, so putting any oil in there would be a waste of time and probably detrimental. So we're going to apply some grease to this front. But before we do that, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Clean the motor shaft. a little bit. Clean around here. The impeller housing is a little dirty. So I'm going to clean it up a little bit. You know what I mean? There we go. Clean that baby. Now, what I really want to do is actually clean the motor shaft with some, I'm thinking a little bit of steel wool and some WD-40. Actually, that may not even be necessary. So there's some hardened grease on here that I kind of want to see go away. Really though, I mean, one of the only vacuums that you'll be able to buy as a consumer that is even worth doing any of this repair work to, especially today, is a Kirby. Kirbys have never changed. It's the same vacuum they've been making since 1990 or so. I mean, really, they got it right the first time. But one of the problems with these Kirby vacuums is that they are definitely losing favor in today's world because, number one, I think people are buying less carpeting. They're carpeting their homes much less than they did years ago. Carpeting is definitely not the in product for consumers in their new homes. That you can't even dispute that. That is just a fact. In fact, when I was out house hunting and just sort of exploring my options, what I found was that almost none of the houses that I looked at had any carpeting at all. And the one that I ended up buying had no carpeting. Not one stitch of carpeting in this house. And it's just a sign of the times. People just don't want carpeting anymore. So Kirby is selling a product, for a different era. I'm going to clean all the gasket material using a razor blade off of these housings before we reassemble it. But before we get to that, I'm going to just start putting this motor back together. So what we'll do, grab our front motor seal. We're going to get this grease on there. Just going to apply it to the lip of the seal. Put a liberal amount of it on there. Use my fingertip maybe. And I grease it up. We're going to grease the... we're going to wipe up any excess, of course. But it only has to be on the, as far as I can tell, it just has to be on the lip that rides along the brass bushing. That's all. You don't have to go crazy. There's no need for that. And that little plastic washer goes on there now. Just like that. And then I just kind of wipe up some of the excess. Because it's just going to collect dust and dirt. There's no need to really have too much of it on there. And we're going to get our new shiny impeller. Throw that on there. New washer. It doesn't really matter the new one or the old one. Same damn thing. Put that on there. Oh, this grease smells awful. It smells like, you know what it smells like? If you've ever worked with Tester's model paint, that's what it smells like. It's actually not an unpleasant aroma, to be honest with you. Okay, so we've got the new front shaft. Screws on counterclockwise or anti-clockwise for you British people. And we're going to get our little 9mm wrench. Apply it to the motor shaft. And use a screwdriver to torque it up. You don't want to go too tight, I'm sure. There's a... You don't want to go crazy with it. Just snug it up so it doesn't come loose. There you go. Next step, we need to apply some sealer to the motor housing. But before we do that, we need to clean off the old sealant. Alright, so I cleaned off all the sealant from both sides, and I think we're ready to apply the new stuff. All I'm using is standard RTV designed for automotive applications. I've got a few different options I could use. This is just one of them, but I think this tube might be bad, so I might have to grab option B, which is a slightly more expensive product. But okay, just took a trip to the garage, and I got the. This is good stuff. I've used this on a number of applications. What I don't like about it is for less precision applications, it's not as thick as your typical RTV, but we're going to paint the stuff on to both surfaces. Don't worry, there will be excess on the outside, and we're just going to take care of that. Stuff is messy and hard to get off your fingers, but it works. Okay, so we gave it a couple minutes just to skin over a bit. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the bottom 3 screws loose, put it on a nice flat surface, put some pressure down on it, knock it like that. Then we're going to tighten those screws up. What that's going to do is ensure that the 2 halves of the motor housing are in line with each other properly, so the vacuum sits level on the floor. And we're going to tighten these bottom 3 screws up, just like that. The top 2 screws actually mate with the this little superstructure here, and we're going to get that in position, and then we're going to drive those screws home. It's easier to plug in this little motor connection first before you set everything into position. Oops. So that's going to sit outside there we go. That's going to go in like that. Then we're going to go ahead and drive these home. Just we're not going to drive them home, we're just going to get them in a little bit, keep things in alignment, and then we're going to install the screws on the other side of this unit. Okay, not going to drive them in, we're just going to get them set into position. Now we're going to drive the 2 top screws home. Okay, now we're going to drive the rear screws. Okay, make sure this is all still engaged in alignment, just like that. Put it in drive. When it's in drive, you want to push this handle mount forward and back and ensure that in each position the wheels lock up. That's how you know your drive system is still functional. Nextly, I'm going to increase the torque on my driver to 11, and I'm going to give these screws a final torquing. There we go. I'm going to get some WD-40 and spray it on a rag, and I'm going to clean up any excess sealant before it dries. And now let's go ahead and test this vacuum out. So we replaced the entire impeller assembly and sealed up the front cover with some form-in-place gasket. And now we're going to try to vacuum this rug. Okay, here we go. Now, first things first, we want to learn from our mistakes, so we don't want to vacuum up anything metallic, you know, because that would be bad. Probably kill it again, and then we'd be doing the job all over again. Is that a nail? That is a nail. Always pick up your nail screws and knock out blanks before vacuuming a rug. Seems like a no-brainer, but story of my life. Okay, let's get our motor turned on. Put it in drive. Here we go. Ooh. No vibration. Yep. The great things about these Kirbys is that you can tell when the brush roller stops when that green light goes out. See? It's not working, so you're burning the belt. So it looks like this new belt pulley thing. There we go. I had it down too far. Sounds fantastic. I noticed that the belt is slipping more than it ever has before. That might be because it's a brand new pulley and it's not broken in or whatever. I don't know. It's got some terrific suction that it didn't have before. Carpet thrown away. Put a new one down here. This one's pretty bad shape. It's not too bad. Back in the computer room. And maybe lower the brush roller one. There we go. Is that other carpet isn't glued down or held down in any way, so it was sucking the carpet right up to it, up to the brush roller, and causing it to stop spinning. That's probably part of the problem. So we'll just, there we go. There we go. Doing a great job cleaning up the mess I made. Okay, she's all good to go. Well, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more. Hopefully I don't break the vacuum again. Let's see.